Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, and I want to talk about Carlos King, Dustin Ross, and Claudia Jordan's commentary on Love and Marriage Huntsville, particularly Marceau and Martell having a sit down. And Dustin makes a very good suggestion for the cast. And Carlos gives the craziest response. I did not see that coming at all. And I do have a question for you all if you have ever heard anything remotely close to what Carlos King says. So before we get into it all, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and also subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged in just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on this soundbite, it is allowed. So let's go ahead and get started, and I will come back with my commentary.
Their one-on-one based on the disaster group scene with the guys from last week. And in this scene, they really wanted to get an understanding on where things went wrong in their friendship and how they're able to move forward. They both intimated that, look, we do throw jabs at each other, especially when it comes to the women in our lives, and how that can definitely interfere with us finding some common ground. And based on the scene, it does appear that they have made amends. But Claudia, based on that scene, what did you think about Marceau and Martell? Do you think they'll be able to be friends ever again?
I think they both, when you agree to disagree and you just say pleasant things to just kind of end it like, yeah, okay, all right, well, you don't say anything about me, because they both went in their confessionals, and Martell still seemed like he was in his feelings, and Marceau's like, he always does this. He always says he wants to change. He always does this. We like to give him grace, like maybe he'll change, but I feel like it was the posture of both of them in that scene was so different. Marceau was like smoking a cigar, like nigga, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. He came from a more position of power, and Martell came from more of a position of emotion, like, be my friend, like me, me too. At the end of the day, I think they got, we said it before, there's dirt that is out there that Martell has on everybody. He's mad because his dirt is out there. Nobody else is really out there like that. And he probably wants to it's probably frustrating. And it just seems like Martell is still mad. He's going to be mad about that. I do think Martell wants the approval of Marceau. I do. I think Marceau is like, doesn't really take it as seriously. Like, he ain't really tripping. Like, he knows what he's dealing with. He knows the man he's dealing with. And he knows that he ain't going to really change. The conversation was cute. But I think one thing goes wrong, they're going to both be on their sides. And Martell going to be back on a podcast with the ops. That's what I think. I think Martell can't help it. I think he can't help it.
Yeah. Here's what I say. And I actually text Carlos about this earlier. At this point, you got 4 people in 4 corners of the boxing ring, right? You got Letitia Scott in this corner with the things that she said to me and Carlos. You have Marceau in one corner with the things that he's saying are true and the things that he's saying are not true. You have Maurice Scott in one corner with the things that he's saying are true and are not true. And then you have Martell in another corner with the things that he has said that are not true, and now the things that he's saying are true and not true. I think that at this point on the reunion stage, and Carlos, I don't know if it's too late to make this happen or not, I think that at this point there's nothing left to do than to take a live lie detector test. Straight up. Have Maurice do a lie detector test about the shit that Martell said about him. Have Martell do a lie detector test about everything. Have Marceau do a lie detector test about what Martell is accusing him of. Have Letitia do a lie detector test about the things that Martell is saying are not true that she said. Let's just clear it all up, because you have 4 people who are very, very confident in their conviction, right, with what they're saying. You have 4 people who are passionately standing on business. And if they're willing to do that, I think that would be fascinating TV. So, Carlos, you can find a third party that's credible. That they're going to get your damn legal note right there. You have legal get on
legal note.
Qualified administrator for that administrator for that test, and do that, Carlos. Can we do that? Can we get a lie detector test on the reunion?
You know what's so funny? So I've been watching The Real Housewives of Orange County, and they did it on their show. One thing that, well, number one, I thought it was entertaining. Let me just say that. I thought when OC did it a few weeks ago, it was very entertaining. What's interesting about it, though, Dustin, is based on the research that is done, in order for a lie detector test to be considered accurate, the person must be strapped, on with the machine for at least 90 minutes, right? And that's the only way to accurately detect whether or not the person truly did pass or fail. Unfortunately, that didn't happen on the show because you got 7 women being polygraphed that would have taken the whole day plus more. Say all that to say, look, I think it's great for entertainment, but what I will say is it is something that I think, look, if we have the time, I would love to do something like that. I know my cast. I don't think my cast would ever decide to do that.
You think they wouldn't be compliant? That's funny to me though, because everybody is really.
Keisha would. I will say this. Not to cut you off. Of all of my cast members, I will say this, and they're gonna read me at the reunion for saying this, but it's fine. Of all of my Huntsville cast members, the only ones who I think will love to do a lie detector test is Kimmy and Tisha.
I would love a reality show where the cast is strapped up the entire show and the audience can see it the entire time. That'd be in real time. You're welcome.
No, that's actually good. And Kim and Tisha 100%. Miss Nell, I'll give 75%. But the rest of them, I don't think they would ever do it. But listen, we have Trisha coming on, so Dustin, make that the first question you ask her.
Okay.
I'm curious.
Bring it on.
Raindrops. Let me know in the comments who y'all think would say yes to a polygraph test at the reunion. Let me know in the comments who y'all think it would be. But listen, I will say this. I do hope that.
Okay, so next they're going to get into Martell and Ariane. Claudia is going to pose a question. So before we get into that, I just want to give some commentary on what they said. So I thought it was interesting when Claudia said that during Marceau and Martell's sit down, that Marceau spoke from a place of power while Martell was emotional. And I do think that the place of power is when you accept that the person who tries to disrespect you, they try to provoke a negative reaction from you, or they may try to bully you or manipulate you, they're not going to change, right? They choose to engage in that negative behavior on a regular, consistent basis. So because you already know that about them, you already know what X is, you've already solved the equation. So you can F with them at your own discretion. When you want to F with them, how you want to F with them. I say when you do socialize with them, keep your answers brief. Just keep it at small talk, nothing deep, so that they don't try to use anything that's meaningful to you. They don't try to use that against you. And it seems like Marceau perhaps has accepted in his heart and in his mind that Martell is not his friend and will never change. And if he pisses Martell off on Mad Day, he's going to try his best to hurt his wife's feelings and potentially destroy their marriage. So Marceau operates from that acceptance. Now, I want to get into Dustin suggesting that the cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville actually take lie detector tests. All Carlos had to say was, I could never get the cast to do that. That was all he had to say. Or he could have said, well, let me remind you, Dustin, this is the same cast that made a pact with each other not to talk about certain things on camera for this show before they ever started filming season 1 of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I do not think that I can get those same people to take lie detector tests. That was all that Negro had to say. But instead, he said that you have to be strapped up to the lie detector test for at least 90 minutes for the reading to be accurate. Have you ever heard of that? And you all know that I am a nerd. I love researching things. I love Googling. I have not Googled that because I'm not saying that I'm not fully convinced that what he's saying is legit. I've just never heard that before. Out of all of the talk shows from the 90s, Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, I've never heard anyone come out and debunk those talk shows and say, you got to be strapped up for at least 90 minutes. He brought up the Real Housewives of Orange County. Yes, they just had a lie detector test, not last Thursday, but the week before that was their lie detector test episode. And it was very interesting. We've seen the cast of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta take lie detector tests. And I know for years we've said that that was scripted reality. But I have never heard that before. And I was just thinking, that is such a bizarre response. Just say you can't get them to do it. And then he said, out of everyone, I think Tisha would be the number one person to take the test, followed by Kimmy and perhaps Nell. So that is hilarious to me. But even then with Kimmy, she's given how many different stories about how her and Maurice met? One, it was a toy party. That was like at the season 1 reunion. And Kiowa was the host that was like displaying the adult toys, and he was there. Then he was a barber, and Kimmy took Jalen to get his hair cut. And then there was like a third way that they met. So, I mean, I don't know if she'd be down for a lie detector test. And the one question that would send their readings all off the charts, Tisha and Kimmy, is, do you think your husband has ever cheated on you? Now, in my opinion, they're going to answer no. But the question is, will they pass or fail that question? So Carlos knows that that cast will never be comfortable doing a lie detector test. But let's continue on with their conversation. And Claudia is going to ask a question regarding Martell and Ariane.
Martell and Marcel find their way. I will say this. I think so much damage has been done.
Yeah.
That will they ever get back to who they were 10 years ago? No. I don't think so. I think too much damage has been done. And I think what they're trying to figure out based on me watching the scene was a common ground based on how can we move forward while we're all a part of this situation. That's what I
And also, when did Martell get engaged?
Yeah.
He said my fiance in that scene. We didn't see an engagement, did we? And then he didn't want to move her in the house with him. Like, he's like, I'm going to move her in, but that's when we get married. Your boy is all over the place. He is a narcissist. He's a liar, in my opinion. That's a toxic.
Would you like to add anything to that?
I don't have to. You know like it's literally, it's a thing like, that would be like Claudia saying like, oh, okay, tomorrow is, Tuesday type shit. Ain't nothing for me to say because we all know tomorrow is Tuesday. So like,
was he doing it for narcissist's sake? I was like, wait, now you claiming her?
I haven't seen any engagement photos. You know what's so funny? And let's have a conversation. And listen, we've all been in situations, relationships, all of that. I think it's one of those things where that's just a name this is honestly my opinion. I think it's a name you throw around nowadays. I think a lot of people say, yeah, there's a lot of people who use that.
Carlos, Lamone.
That means y'all gonna get married.
Yeah, I'm not. No. I agree with you, Dustin. What I'm saying, no. Let me clear what I'm saying. When people throw around the word fiance, I agree with Dustin that they're saying that because they want to get married. I was just saying that it doesn't mean they have an official engagement. That's what I was saying.
I don't think
it's good though. Who in the hell will call somebody a fiance you ain't proposed to?
He don't want to get married. He feels lesser than because everybody else is in a marriage, and he's like on a Me Too thing here. So let me validate it more. That's your side. Knock it off. That is not your fiance. We'll call her your wife when you actually get married. And then when the follow-up question was asked about moving her in, I'm moving her in, but not with me, basically. Like, what? Boy, you full of shit.
Yeah, I thought that was odd too. Where did this moral high ground come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, all of, well, we have to work, you know, we have to move by the rules of what? Y'all got a baby. You know what I'm saying? And you was married when y'all had the baby. So all this moral grandstanding was kind of like odd to me. Like, what?
Ladies, don't fall for that bullshit when they call you wifey. No, that's a promise ring. That's a let me shut you up with the wifey. No, I'm your wife or I'm your girlfriend or I'm your side. Make it clear. Don't call me your fiance if I'm really not. So you can look better amongst your male peers that are all married men. Don't do that. Put a ring on it, Martell. Make it official. Make that woman an honest woman.
Spot on, Claudia. When she's talking about women, don't let a man just call you wifey and he doesn't really mean it. He's just stringing you along, wasting your time. Put a ring on it. Absolutely. Shout out to Beyonce. Now, I wrote down in my notes, Martell saying on camera that he's engaged is just to pacify Ariane. He knows that she watches the episodes for Love and Marriage Huntsville, and he knows that she will get wet just off of him saying that they're engaged. He knows that that's the minimum that he has to do to keep her happy so that she doesn't put him on child support or, just totally embarrass him online. He is saying that to pacify Ariane. And then she's probably in her simple mindset, she's geeked that he's saying on camera that he's going to move her and her kids into his investment property. For her, in some strange way, I think she takes that as some sort of commitment on top of him saying, oh yeah, we're engaged, or that's his fiance. It's all just to pacify her. But Claudia was spot on, and she called him a narcissist and a liar. And, she said, in her opinion, and that's Claudia's opinion, Martell. And, Dustin is like, where is this moral high ground coming from? All of the grandstanding. He said, the two of y'all got a baby, and the baby was conceived when you were married. Martell is living in a fantasy and he cannot deal with his poor choices. And Claudia said something interesting. She said that he's trying to say, oh yeah, we're engaged because he's on a show called Love and Marriage and he's surrounded by couples, some of which are married or others, they live together. They've been dating for a few years now. That would be Ken and Trisha. And then the married couples are Chris and Nell and Tisha and Marceau and Kimmy and Maurice. So she almost said that like perhaps Martell feels like the odd man out, or perhaps a little insecure that his marriage did not work. I think that he feels resentment towards the men who are married because they are still with their wives, but he could not keep his family together. So I definitely enjoy hearing what Claudia and Dustin have to say. They do not get intimidated by Martell, and they speak their minds. I find them to both be articulate and intelligent. I know that they collaborate with Carlos on these weekly shows, but I do think that at least to a pretty significant extent, they are free to give their commentary on him. Do I think that Martell has probably at least texted Carlos about Dustin and Claudia's commentary? I'm pretty sure, but Carlos must say, well, that is their opinion. And so neither one of them is the type that would be watered down just because I'm telling them to speak certain things about you. Like, I'm pretty sure Martell has complained about them, but it sounds like Carlos is letting them speak their minds. That would be totally better than him trying to mute them him because he doesn't want any more replays of what Aikisha and So Gucci did to him during a live broadcast. So what do you all think about what Dustin and Claudia had to say? Do you think there are any cast members of Love and Marriage Huntsville who would be willing to take a lie detector test? And what do you think about their commentary on Martell saying that he and Ariane are engaged, the moral grandstanding, and possibly feeling uncomfortable or shame because he's surrounded by couples? I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. I hope that you all had a magnificent Monday and not a manic Monday. I did have a magnificent Monday. I cannot complain. The weather has been beautiful these past few days. Oh my gosh. So after work, I put on my sweats and I went to the gym. First, I went to the park. I did 4 laps. 2.5 miles, 53 minutes. I think it was 2.25 miles, 53 minutes. And then I made myself go straight to the gym. And I did a little bit more walking on the treadmill before I did some squats, some lunges, and I did 3 machines that work the lower body, like the leg press and other things that, oh my gosh, had my thighs like burning. So I'm glad I got the workout done and I have created some content, obviously, and I had a good weekend. I hope you did too. Really quickly, I want to Google, do you have to be strapped up to a lie detector test for 90 minutes for it to be accurate? And Google's AI review says, while some professional organizations recommend a test duration of 90 minutes to ensure a valid procedure, the length of the exam is only one of many factors that contribute to a polygraph test's disputed accuracy. Oh, the total time of 90 minutes or more is primarily for the pre-test interview. Oh, okay. So it sounds like the 90 minutes may not be like in black or white, take it or leave it, but it's one of many factors that go into the accuracy. Try again, Carlos. Well, we are all going to have a terrific Tuesday, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.